Yeah, let's learn how to handle file upload dialog in Selenium using C#. So let's take an example where we go to image search. So we go to google.com, and here you can see there is an images search on top, and here when we click this camera, it opens a new dialog, and under that upload image, there is one file upload control. So when we click here, it opens file upload window, and there we type path to file to upload, and then we continue. So now how do we handle this particular scenario of dealing with file upload dialog in C#? So let's copy this URL because that is what we will be opening. Let's create a new project in Visual C#. So new project, typically we go with Visual C# console application, and let's call it file upload demo. So it is creating the project. Let's add the reference to Selenium libraries here. So we right click, go to NuGet, and there we type Selenium. Now this is the way where we can quickly add reference to TLLs of Selenium. So we have to select both of them, Selenium WebDriver and Selenium Support. Now good news is if we select Selenium Support and install it, it will automatically install the Selenium WebDriver. So let's do the install here. So it is resolving the actions, and ultimately it will install the package, and it will have a reference to WebDriver added for our project. So now we are free to use Selenium classes. So let's put a using openqa.selenium and using openqa.selenium.firefox package. These two namespaces we are importing. Now we can write the code in main, and I say iWebDriver driver equals new Firefox driver. This will launch the browser. We say driver.url, we set the URL, so that will open the web page. And third thing that we do after doing these two is we have to click the control, which is this camera control. So let's right click, inspect in FirePath. Let's get the XPath for this control, and we say driver.find element by.xpath. We find the element and let's perform a click. Now one more thing we have to do is let's set some implicit wait timeout dot manage dot timeouts, implicit wait timeout, and let's set the timeout for few seconds, time span dot from seconds. Let's give 30-second implicit wait timeout. What this timeout means is whenever we issue any find element command, it should wait for at least 30 seconds before saying that element is not found, because sometimes some elements take time to come on the page, so it's always safer to put some implicit wait timeout. Now once we click this link, another dialog will open, which is this. So let me close this first. We click this and a new window comes, and let's try to locate that window. And in this, what we want to do, we want to click upload an image. We want to click this. So let's get the URL for or XPath for that, Control C. So after clicking this, we can find another control, find element by.xpath, and here we give the XPath, and we perform a click on this. Now what this means is we are clicking this icon or this link. After that we get the file input dialog, so we inspect that as well. So this is our file input control. So here I'm going to do step-by-step approach. File upload control, and we do driver.find element, we do by.xpath, and we put the XPath here. So this way we find file upload control, and now we are all set to give it an input. So let me see if I have any file. Okay, I have a papaya image here, so let's copy the path of that, copy as path. And what we can do is, the first way, we are going to talk about two approaches. Approach one is send keys method to upload a file. What we can do is file upload dot send keys, and we can give this path that we copied. Now all the slashes we have to make double slashes, or we can put @ symbol here. So @ makes this string to be treated literally. That means slash is not an escape sequence in this. So after doing this, so what we are doing is we are sending the path. We are doing send keys here, which will kind of upload the image, or the file path will start appearing here. So it will give us a desired effect, which is like if I go and click the papaya image. Okay, where did that go? Here. And we say open. So this action that send keys will perform, because send keys will send the keys to that control, and we should come here. Fine, so let's try to run our code till this step and see what it produces. So first thing that will happen is browser will launch. Then we go to the URL that we were interested in. Okay, so right now browser launch is happening. We came to the URL, and you see it happened very quickly. We entered the file path, and it is taking some time to take that path, and the upload has happened. Now this is like first approach, send keys approach to upload a file. Now this approach does not work for every other control. So another example I can show you is, let me go to my Facebook account. Here if we come, we see there is add photo or video. So if I click there, it directly opens this dialog. But if I right click here and say inspect element, then strangely this element we will see, okay, this element is also file. So most likely it should work here as well. So there will be some scenarios which is, I think, the update profile picture. Yeah, this is a better example. If I click it here, then it gives another dialog. I click this, and now we reach to this open dialog. But if you notice here, this upload photo link is not same as the file dialog. Okay, input file. But here you see this is little different. It is not showing the file path here. So in this scenario, or there may be scenarios like this where the file upload does not work by the way of send keys. In those scenarios we have to use another approach. So let me call it approach 2, and that approach is using another tool called Auto IT. Now Auto IT is a tool that handles windows that do not belong to browser. So this is a tool for automating any desktop based applications. So you will be seeing that approach also, because if first approach doesn't work in your scenario, you can always fall back to second approach. That's a lot better. Now in order to use Auto IT, first thing you need to do is you need to go to Google and search for Auto IT download. So let's remove this previous one. It's the Auto IT download. You go to web results. It takes us to the site, which is site for Auto IT. So on this site you have to go and you have to download the Auto IT and install it. Since I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do the reinstallation. Now when the installation happens, it gets installed into C program files x86 Auto IT 3. So this is the directory where installation will happen. Now once you have installed it, what we need to do is to use the Auto IT code in our C# code. We'll have to add a reference, and we can go to browse, and we can browse to that directory where Auto IT is installed. We go to Auto IT X, and here we have to add a reference to this DLL. This is a .NET assembly which we can use to automate scenarios of clicking windows where Selenium is not capable of doing things. So let's add reference to Auto IT X3 DLL. We say OK. So now we have another namespace that we have to use. So we say using Auto IT X3 lib. Now that approach, if we have to do, we have to create object of auto IT x3, or we can say auto IT x3 auto IT equals new auto IT x3. So first thing we have to do is we have to create object of auto IT. After we do that, what we do is we have to do win activate. That means we are going to activate a window that appears on click of the browser button. Let me take you to again Firefox. Here when we click this and when we click this control, so it opens this file dialog UI. Now here the title of this is file upload. So file upload is a window that we want to activate. So we can come back to our code and we can say file upload is our window. Now one more thing that is very important for us to know is this dialog is actually a browser dependent dialog. So if I go to this link and I press this, you see file upload comes, but same thing if I try to do in Chrome browser, it will be a different dialog. Name of that will be open. If I click here, you see it shows open. If we go to Microsoft Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge, which is the latest browser in Windows 10, there if I click this and upload and I click this, it shows us again open dialog. So since this is open and Chrome is also open, same piece of code in this case can work for Chrome and Internet Explorer, but Mozilla will have a different code. Okay, so this will bring the window in front, or this will kind of activate the window so that whatever actions we do activate, so that next set of actions happen on this window. This is a way for us to say to auto IT that this window we want to be active window where we want to perform some actions. Now the actions that we want to perform is we want to send some keystrokes, and here also the keystrokes will be the same file path, but this time these keystrokes will go into the window that gets opened. And after doing that, we say auto it dot send, we will send the enter key. So this is like pressing the submit button or OK button on that dialog. Now sometimes what happens is after sending the keys, it takes very few seconds for for our code to send the enter key. So we should try to give some delay here, and we should say thread dot sleep. Let's try to give 1 second delay. So thread dot sleep is a function that stops the execution of current thread for few seconds, and the parameter that it takes as input parameter, that parameter is milliseconds. So that's why for 1 second we are passing 1000. Okay, so we have our scenario coded. So let's go and close this browser window and let's run the second approach and see how it works. So it opens the browser, it will take us to that site. Now it exited very fast and we could not see these actions happening. And the reason behind that is we did not click the file upload link. So this control that we searched, actually that should be clicked so that that dialog window appears, because last time when we were doing send keys, this click wasn't required because we can send keys directly. So in this approach we should click that, because this opens the file upload window dialog. Yeah, so let's go ahead and run it now. So now it goes to that site. Yeah, so you can see that complete series of steps have been done by auto IT now, and this approach is going to work for most of the cases. But sometimes using auto IT becomes flaky, like since it involves keyboard and mouse interaction. This is keyboard interaction, this is also keyboard interaction. Using auto IT we can do mouse click, we can enter any keystrokes. So this is something that I will recommend to avoid in case the first approach works for you. If first approach is not working for you and you have no other option, then you can go ahead with auto IT. Fine, so those were two approaches of file upload using C# in Selenium. Thank you for watching and see you in the next series. Bye.